This might be surprising and maybe not, but despite working inside of the spiritual space and despite having accumulated a lot of validation that the experiences I have and what I've seen and what I've felt and what I've heard are real, and there's so much tangible evidence to tell me that it is real and that I can trust in what I've felt and what I've seen and what I know, I still doubt quite a bit. I'm only human. And particularly, what I doubt is my capacity to manifest what I want. And I've seen evidence that I can and that I have. But when things don't go my way, I do succumb to my own self doubt. And recently, I had this experience that just fortified how powerful our mind really is and how capable we are of manifesting everything that we want. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it because sometimes it doesn't happen in the way we expect. My friend texted me a few days ago this story about how her and her husband and her two young kids were getting ready to do this road trip to see some family members out of town. And the whole day was just a disaster. The kids were acting up and they were screaming and crying and they didn't want to get in the car. And by the time they got in the car, everyone was exhausted and everyone was upset and yelling at each other. And her husband had had a long week and they were just, they couldn't wait to get out of town to see these family members, but at the same time, like, they were yelling at each other, and there was the car ride was just becoming this giant ball of stress and anger, to the point where they were fighting in the front seat, her and her husband, when the car broke down and they had to pull over onto the side of the road, and they had to call a tow truck to come and get the car, and they had no choice but to go back home, and they had to miss this entire trip, and they weren't able to see their family. And she was going on and on and on about how stressful it was to have to get a tow truck and to have to go back home, and how she's so upset that she's not going to be able to see these family members, and they had planned this trip and it didn't go as planned. And she's telling me all these things, and I'm hearing what she's saying, but I'm feeling something different. Beneath the surface, I'm feeling this incredible relief that she doesn't have to do this trip and that she can go home and she can relax. So I asked her, did you want to do this trip? And she says, yes, of course. I wanted to see family. It's so upsetting that we had to call the tow truck and we couldn't get there. And I said, but was there a part of you that didn't want to go because you're sort of exhausted? And there's a part of you that's relieved that you get to spend your evening at home. And she said, yeah. What does this mean? And I said, well, it seems like you got exactly what you wanted. Of course, she wanted to go on this trip and she wanted to see family, and she had made all these plans and she was hoping that everything would fall into place. But there was a deeper, stronger, more unconscious part of her that just wanted peace, and who got the peace that she wanted by the trip not working out. For just a moment, let's put aside the notion that this whole series of events happened by circumstance and it was just one giant coincidence after the next. What if it was the power of intention that created this outcome of their car breaking down? That they so badly wanted peace that they created a way to get it. Incredible to believe that you could be that powerful. No? That you could be powerful enough through the intention of the mind and the energy that you're giving off, that you could have the power to create the circumstances that satisfy a deeper desire. If it's true that we are that powerful, where we have the ability through the intention of our own consciousness to change the circumstances of our lives, what could it be possible to manifest if we gave ourselves what we needed? If we had the courage to acknowledge how we feel, why we feel that way, and how we desire to feel instead, and focused on creating that reality. What could be possible for you if you not only allowed your deepest truth to be allowed, but desired?